this meeting to order. Ray, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business, approval of the minutes of the August 9, 2010 regular Board of Selectmen's meeting and work session meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the work session from August 9th. So select board meeting.
Second.
It has been, was that for the work session?
Work session.
Work session. It's been moved and seconded that the minutes from the August 9 work session be approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved.
Madam Chair, you did the regular meetings and the work session.
No. Work session.
Just a work session.
It's the work session.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 9th.
Second.
It's been moved by Butch, seconded by Darrell, that the minutes of the August 9th regular meeting be approved. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. Regular meetings at 6 p.m. on Monday, September 13 and Monday, September 27, 2010. Work review sessions prior to the regular meetings will start at 5 p.m. Work session meetings will also be held on an as-needed basis as determined by the Select Board members. All of the above meetings will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for the month of July are available in the Town Hall. Town offices will be closed on Monday, September 6, 2010, in observance of Labor Day. Okay. Review, nothing under personnel. We have no visitors, no appointments. Under Chairman's comments, I would just like to mention that the annual Day to Fight Cancer is going to be on September 25th, 2010 at the Plymouth State PE Center. This is put on by an organization called Keeping You, Me, and Memories Alive. It's a Plymouth-based nonprofit organization which was started by a PSU student a number of years ago, and they hold Day to Fight Cancer that includes a walk and a number of other fundraising events. And that is coming up September 25th. Committee reports. Ray?
You have in front of you, just distributed, a piece of communications that was received in the town office this past week from Grafton County Economic Development Council. The council is holding its annual meeting on September the 21st in the morning at the Common Man Inn. The town is one of the 39 municipalities within the county that is part of this organization, and indeed has a vote at the annual meeting as to the election of board members. This year, a breakfast meeting is being held with the intent of also enabling those participants who come to the annual meeting to be able to stay over for the first business meeting, in which two things will be occurring. One, an administrative business matter in which officers will be elected by the board, and second, to receive a report that was commissioned by the council with Plymouth State University as part of a strategic plan review by the council to get a handle on A, where they are at now, and B, perhaps where we need to be in the future in their efforts to develop the economy within the county. So it affords everybody an opportunity to hang over from that. Charlie did attend last year's annual meeting on behalf of the town, and the council is looking for the board to name a representative to attend. And unfortunately, I'm the individual as chair of the council that has to vote all the proxies. So it would be kind of a nice thing for us to have somebody there, especially since it's a breakfast meeting here within the town itself.
I'll be happy to go to that.
In that case, we won't need anything. In the past, when we've had the meetings here, not in the recent past, but as much as 3 or 4 years ago, when we were holding meetings here in town, there actually were some fairly nice meetings held in the evenings when we actually had the entire board came. But we don't just need a representative. All the representatives of the select board are invited to attend. Be happy to have those. I have nothing to report on Main Street. The chamber did not meet this month, the chamber board, and since he did such an outstanding job last time, I will defer to Butch on an update on what's going on with the safety buildings developments when we get around to that.
I have to backtrack that September 21st is the day I've got the training at PSU, so I can't attend because that goes from 8 to 5.
I can be there.
Okay.
You want more than one?
Boy, it'd be good to see your face again.
All right, I'll be there.
I still owe money from last year. That's where I'm going.
And I'm pleased to say that from a scheduling standpoint, to this point, the first 2 meetings of a spinoff of the Plymouth Energy Committee that is focusing on the grants that the town has been awarded through the state on energy efficiency measures. They have rescheduled future meetings on a Tuesday evening, so I will be able to attend those. First 2 were scheduled on Monday nights when we were meeting, so it made it tough for me to be in 2 places. So I'm pleased to say I'll be able to attend future meetings.
Darryl?
This Friday, the library will be having their groundbreaking at 10 a.m. So August 27th at the library. That's it.
Butch?
The building committees on the safety complex. It was one of the quicker meetings we had. I think we got out 10 minutes earlier this week, but we're getting that narrowed down to the sites, and now they're going into more depth into the sites. We're looking at topography and soil and everything else on these sites that we've decided that would be of importance, how certain acreage-wise, what we can put on, if we can put a complex on or a single complex on. So it's been narrowed down to about 6 sites, 5 or 6 sites right now, and so now they're going a little bit more in depth on those sites. And but it's moving along on schedule. So.
Charlie?
I attended the August 10th meeting of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer. Meeting was relatively uneventful, except for the fact that they are going to have an open house with their new facility sometime later this year when it's ready to show to the public. They're in the process right now, I think, of spending $6 million, give or take, to bring it up to speed. I talked to them either this meeting or the one before about the odor issue on Main Street, and I've been assured by Steve Call that it's going to smell like roses, so we'll see. One other item is the Rotary is having their duck race on the 18th of September, which is kind of a lot of fun. Kids, it's a good event for kids and also adults. There'll be Alex Ray's going to have a food concession down there, and what they do is they dump several thousand little ducks in the river from the bridge, and then they try to siphon them into a, like an arrow, until one duck comes out. And that duck would be the person who buys the tickets, which are now on sale. They're $5 a ticket, and I think it's 5 tickets for $20. And the one with the number, the winning number is the first duck through the chute is a $1,000 prize. And this is money that it's a big Rotary event, that and the penny sale, which they use mostly for scholarships for local kids. Every year they have 6 or 8 scholarships they give out to the local high school kids. Other than that, that's it.
All righty. New business, moving on to other business. Chief Clogston. Sale of the 1991 Seagraves ladder truck.
Basically, it's, I need the board's approval to go ahead and try to sell the old ladder truck, which is, the research I've done, not worth an awful lot because it is just an aerial device, and as we know, the stick itself is out of specification. I have checked with a broker company that they specialize and they sell old fire apparatus. Sight unseen, he gave me an email saying that with what it is, he guesstimates that it's worth anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000. Over the phone, he said, just a straight aerial device, you know, in the condition it's in, you're looking more down around towards the 10 if you're lucky. So obviously before I start advertising this, or I can broker it with this company, and basically what they do is they sell it, and if they sell it, they take 7% of what the sale price is. If they don't sell it, they don't get nothing out of it. But before I go down that, I would need the approval of the board to go ahead and try to sell that piece of apparatus. Or
7%?
7% is what he told me over the phone, right? My plan is to, within the fire department networks that we have, put the word out for like 2 or 3 weeks, see if there's anybody locally around that might want to buy it. Maybe a logging company might, because it's got live hydraulics, take it and just take the whole back end off and use it for some other application other than a fire truck. So if there's somebody out there that might think that they want to look at it for that, because the motor and transmission and running gear are all good. The only thing that's messed us up is that aerial device itself. So somebody may use it for a different application. But if we don't get any hits on anybody that wants to buy it, then put it out into this network that all over the country people look at these for sale things. And the last time we had one, we tried to sell it, it didn't go, and I think it wound up sitting out in Piper's yard for about a year and a half, and then it just went completely to rust, and they all but gave it away. And I would like not to have to try to sit on this any longer than we have to, but still get some type of monies for it.
How old's that truck?
20 years.
Well, it doesn't have mileage, it's just hours.
Hours.
How many hours on the engine?
I think I have that. Let's see, okay. 2,565 engine hours.
What's that? 100,000 miles?
No, it's less.
Equivalent?
A lot less than that.
Skid steer, that's less.
They don't get mileage, hours, but there again, it's the 100-foot aerial that.
Right. And you would mention something about advertising as well. So when you say get the word out in the local networks, is that starting to advertise locally, or
Start to advertise locally, see if anybody around wants it. That way, whatever, if somebody makes an offer, I'll bring it back to the board with a recommendation. And that way we keep 100% of the sale. And if nobody jumps on it, then we send it out and let somebody else try to sell it for, like I said, the 7% of what the sale is. I will say this, when I went on the website with this company that I talked with, They have a lot of old aerial devices that are still in service. They have pumps. They're asking a lot more, so if we look for a quick sale, probably right around 10,000 or so, that might be something that's feasible.
Paul?
I just wanted to mention, Chief, that I brought in Peter later in the day, and he couldn't get a hold of you, but Peter's interested in helping with the selling of this, because we've done pieces of equipment from highway before, and he's got some different brokers, and we want to use the internet and a couple other means of reaching out, because there isn't a big rush on this, right? You've got until February,
Right. We have until end of January, beginning of February.
so we'd like to give it some, take it into consideration this time around, the economic times that we're in, and maybe someone out there in Peter's world might want that kind of a truck, at least with that diesel engine. That's
Yeah.
enough.
It's going to destroy it.
Diesel at 2,560 hours is
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, you're just going to find the person that needs
The
that.
engine, because it is a generator, for God's
Because
sake.
Peter was thinking even if we just part it out, and then,
Yeah, right.
that's, excuse me, an aluminum ladder, right? I believe it's aluminum. Is it?
No,
It's not aluminum.
no, it's steel, the aerial device. But then, right now, if the fire department's going to buy it, all the ground ladders that are on it go with it, because the new one's coming with brand new ones. So there is a thought of parting the thing out. Once we start parting it out, then, that's
Yeah.
something to look at.
Right.
I'm just, looking for the okay to start advertising.
Yeah, I say we begin the process and,
Yes.
and this time not leave any stone unturned.
Right.
We look at all kinds of possibilities.
Yep.
I think we might want to, who's the broker? Where's he from?
This is just one company that I checked with. I think they're out of, James Campbell,
Massachusetts.
no, I think this one's, I talked to a couple different ones, they're all saying the same thing. FentonFire.com is where he's out of. I want to say I talked to a company out in Alabama, and this one, I just was trying to get a feel for it, so I had some information at least to come back and to see what all the old apparatuses, what they're getting for price tags on them and the condition. And didn't find a lot that was looking like the same thing that we had. So,
So, do we need a vote on this?
I just suggested that we go to the brokers at this point as well. Can we do that simultaneously, or does he get a piece
I
of
think once you
it?
sign with a broker, if you sell it, they'll still want their 7%.
I say we contact more than one broker and see how they want to help us and how far they want to help us before it costs us anything. And we look at different papers this time around that we haven't pursued in the past. I think Boston area and the New York area and Chicago area.
There's a lot of the stuff is going overseas too.
Right.
I found out.
And Pete was mentioning today Scandinavia and stuff like that. So we just wanted to make sure we didn't miss some entity out there that could actually take the ladder off of that and use it for a different person or different reason, or shorten the ladder or something like that. And, so I say you don't have to vote on it. It's just giving the chief permission to start pursuing this, and if we even form a mini committee amongst ourselves, and we'll talk about it and
And just keep us
Okay.
posted.
Yeah, before I
if
saw
have-
you see me trying to sell a town a piece of equipment, I wanted to know that you're all set with it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
sir.
All right. Paul, do you have the warrant, dog warrant?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'll have you, it has to be read by the chair.
All right.
Thank you.
I have here in front of me the warrant for unlicensed dogs dated August 23rd, 2010, pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 466:14, entitled Warrants Proceedings. You are hereby directed to proceed forthwith either to collect the fees due the town of Plymouth, to be turned over to the town clerk, or seize an unlicensed dog for holding in an appropriate holding facility. Pursuant to the New Hampshire RSA 466:16, entitled Returns, You have until 9/24/2010 to return this warrant with a statement as to whether all licensed, unlicensed dogs in Plymouth have been seized and held under the provisions of this chapter, and whether complaints have been entered against all persons who have failed to comply with the provisions. This is to the Plymouth Police, and signed by the Town of Plymouth Selectmen.
Attached is a list of the dogs that are in violation that will be posted as required by law.
Yes, we have
And, we have special handcuffs and
Doggy cuffs.
special handcuffs, ankle cuffs. All right, yes, the list will be posted in the town hall
yes, and the police department will also have a
and the
list.
police department.
And just for the people knowing that, this isn't something that we decide to do, it's the state law requires us
Right.
to do this.
Next item on the agenda, Dennis Prescott bond reduction request for Plymouth Business Park.
Sharon?
Sharon?
This is just the as-built to date. Maybe I could ask the board to just share.
I got the bigger ones if you guys are high impaired like me.
As you know, this is standard procedure for any approved projects in the town. This ensures the proper construction and development of the infrastructure on the site. Our town engineer, Mike Vignali, has made a recommendation that Mr. Prescott be allowed to essentially reduce his letter of credit, which he has at this point. It's not actually a savings account, it's a letter of credit with Meredith Savings Bank. The total amount that was issued was $144,575. This is Mr. Prescott's first request for a reduction in that letter of credit, and the amount that he is asking to reduce the letter of credit by is $129,352. This is fairly standard procedure. I believe that the board has had a copy of this memorandum from Mr. Vignali, which cites the particulars of the project. There are a few outstanding, relatively minor issues to be dealt with, which is par for the course here. As you know from probably previous incidences of this, that the financial aspect of it retains a 10% contingency on top of the amount that's required to finish up in case of whatever, increase in prices. This is fairly straightforward. I did ask Mr. Prescott to be here this evening in case the board had any questions. The schematic you have before you is what's commonly referred to as an as-built, and it's certified by a surveyor on the ground that this essentially is what has been constructed to date. And Mr. Vignali will get a copy of this so he can cross-reference and verify.
I can email that to him. by the way.
Oh, good. Well,
You
that'd be
don't have
great.
to send it.
That'd be wonderful. I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. So essentially what I'm looking, or on behalf of Mr. Prescott, what he is looking for the board to do would be to approve this $129,000 plus reduction in his letter of credit, which leaves, including the 10% contingency, an amount of $15,223, essentially in escrow, not literally, but as a letter of credit, to provide for financial security for the finishing of this project.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the reduction of the $129,352 down to the amount of $15,223 to be held as security for this project.
I second it.
All right. It's been moved by Ray, seconded by Bush, that we reduce the balance by $129,352, leaving $15,223 in security. All those in favor?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
discussion?
Discussion. I'm sorry.
The way we usually do it is we do add the contingency after the board votes that contingent upon the bullet list that Mike McNally has. Mike McNally then contacts the town administrator. So I'll begin the process immediately after you do vote, and we'll hold on to that process. And as soon as Mike McNally contacts me and says that his bullet list is complete, and then we're all set.
For the, excuse
He
me,
has a couple of contingencies.
Yeah, but that's what the $15,000 remaining balance is for. What I'm asking for is a reduction of what's been completed. That's what that remaining
So there,
$15,000
he
is
has,
for.
so the engineer has nothing in contingency upon that?
the contingencies in the memorandum, the minor things that are coming out, those are covered. Essentially, their cost is $13,840.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that
Right.
what we were
The
retaining,
procedure stays the same.
just want to make sure what we were retaining was enough to cover the
The
contingency.
road's 97% complete at this point.
Mr. Freitas, if I just may mention, Mr. Vignelli's pretty good about the caveats here, and the memorandum to which this is addressed, it says, this estimate should not be considered a final acceptance of any work completed to date, and if any deficiencies are identified in subsequent inspections, it will be the developer's responsibility to correct these deficiencies. And it says this field report should not be considered a final punch list, nor a full review of all project elements. Additional inspections for outstanding work will be ongoing during construction, and additional comments or concerns may be raised. So I think that the caveats are there to protect the town.
Again, all those in favor of this reduction?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Unanimously approved.
There's a structure right here, isn't there? Warehouse.
Next item, PSU annual request for rerouting of traffic with the assistance of the Plymouth Police Department, August 29th, 2010, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to expedite the move-in process with students and to facilitate traffic flow.
That's a plan that we came up with about 5 years ago. It's worked out very well over the last 4 or 5 years. That's the exact same plan that we've been using. But because there's a closure of a road, it does require a vote by the Board of Selectmen.
Which road do they close?
Highland Street.
Highlands.
High
Is
Street.
that high? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's chaos up there.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Just the part to accept the plan and to close High Street.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the PSU police plan to close High Street?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved by Darrell, seconded by Charlie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is approved. No unfinished business. Is there any public comment? Having said that, We have a request to go into non-public session in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, 2A, parentheses, personnel. Have a motion.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by Charlie, seconded by Darrell. Those in favor? Charlie?
Aye.
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 We are in non-public session.
Look, all my kids are going to be in by Saturday.